Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video we are going to take a close look at the Beelink, the AMD Ryzen 7, but this is the i1000 series. This is a very powerful device, and with the previous models I was very pleased with the overall performance. We even had the option to play video games on this, and I'm meaning not like indie games but also AAA games. And Beelink is a company that I've reviewed a couple of items before, but this is not like the top of the line, the GTR series. Where the GTR is most of the time superb and very fast, this is more like a basic lineup what I understand of. So let's do a quick unboxing and let's do a quick overview of everything what we're getting inside the package. With the new AMD Ryzen chipset, we're having more power than before, and I've been doing all kinds of different tests, and the previous were, let's say, the 7000 series was quite good. So I was really intrigued to see what this 8000 can do. How is it with gaming, but also other features. So when it comes to Beelink and the overall build quality and the packaging, everything is doing like an overall premium feel. The form factor is quite nice and very compact, and has like a very nice plastic metallic look overall feel. But let's do a quick, let's say, unboxing of all the other parts in the inside. The all famous card with hello. Yep. Even put some filter over it. That's kind of nice. The, of course, manual. We use a manual with some basic explanation, nothing very fancy. And then the power supply. So we're not having like the cool magnetic one that we have seen with the GTR series. A little bit of a downside, but hey, the barrel jack connection is just fine. And an HDMI cable, but we're not going to be using that today. We do use a power supply. Okay, what kind of power supply are we getting today? Because we do have some differences. So I do love these power supplies when it comes to like Beelink. They're quite good quality. This thing is a very bulky one, and let's take a close look at the specifications. So this is just a typical 19 volts with a total of 120 watts of power wattage there can actually pull from the wall. But let's do a quick overview of the Beelink machine itself. At the front we're finding the on-off switch, we having a barrel jack connection, an USB-C and a normal USB connection. Then another two USB ports, the RJ45 LAN, only in single one. Then we're having display port, HDMI out, we're having another USB port and another headphone jack out, and USB-C and the input for the power supply. Construction wise, it is an overall okay construction. Personally, I love those GTR that's completely made out of, or mostly out of metal. So this thing looks kind of nice, and when it comes to, let's say, the way how they're cooling this, you can just see all of the holes at the bottom, and we're having an exhaust over here at the back. So that's actually how they're going to be like cooling this thing. Okay, so the Beelink comes in different variations. So this is the AMD Ryzen 7 8845HS processor. This actually comes with 32 GB of RAM and 1 TB of storage. We do have Wi-Fi 6 capability and the LAN is 2.5G. And I already mentioned before the 19 volts when it comes to the power supply, that is in 5.26 amp. But the construction itself, I am not very happy with it, because when you're looking at it, you need to remove those rubber thingies that they also like use some double-sided glue on it. And yeah, for entering the screw and removing it before we can open it up. So construction wise, that's absolutely a downside. But after the screws have been removed, you can just remove this piece of plastic. You can see that it's just a very thin plastic. Okay, and here we're having more like a construction semi thingy going on. So let's remove that. Got a brain fart home screwdriver. So we need to remove this particular screw and the one over here. Okay. And this is actually also including a dust filter. So that's kind of cool. And now we can remove it over here. Man, removing both of the screws. Oh no, my screw fell inside. Oh, but that's one of the things you need to clean. Okay, so cleaning this is going to be absolutely annoying. So if you need to remove this piece of plastic, we need to, every single time, you need to remove the plastic thingies for having the screws removed. Yeah, that's not going to be a very pleasant overall experience. But what I see in the inside is quite surprising and quite good. So first of all, what you can see, having this massive cooling element on the NVMe's, and we do have the option for two of them. That's something you don't see very often, because most of these mini PC do have like a limited space. So let's remove this screw and this over here. And let's lift it up. There we go. Let's see what kind of brand they're using today. So they're still using the same kind of brand when it comes to, like, say, all of the NVMe's. And I did have some bad experience with this, but yeah, that was maybe a single time. so I won't not to complain too much about it. So for the RAM they are using Crucial, dual channel, so 16 gigabyte DDR4 5600 in total, or at least the type. Just click it out, fairly easy, and replace and upgrade them if you want to. So the construction itself, I am very pleased with what I'm seeing over here, especially when it comes to the extra NVMe slot. That's absolutely awesome. But regarding the noise itself, when you're going to be booting it up, you will hear the fan itself spinning, but not that loud that it's going to be quite annoying. First time boot up, and the first thing that we're going to be doing, of course, is setting up Windows itself. But okay, so the system has been booted up into Windows, so choosing the language and setting everything up on the Beelink, and it's time to test bench and start playing some games. Alright, so let's take a close look at the CPU Z. It's time for a little bit of a wicked nerdy time. So over here I have the AMD Ryzen 7, it's also called codename Phoenix, with a max TDP of 45 watts. Technology is 4 nanometers. So this is the AMD Ryzen 7 8845HS with the Radeon 780M mobile graphics GPU. So let's go into the mainboard manufacturers AZW, model number the SER8. So when it comes to the memory, we're having DDR5 over here installed, 32 gigabytes. So have been divided over 2 slots. That's one of the things that we have seen in the teardown, and if you're not yet been skipping, you missed it out. But now you know. Over here with the 780M, and let's do some stress tests and let's see for fun. So for the temperatures, let's go into this. So we do have all of the cores showing voltages and everything that we're going to be needing. So let's see, let's go all the way down over here, and we can see some package temperatures going 33.1 Celsius. At the moment it's a quite hot day, so you need to take consideration that it can be a little bit lower normally when it comes to a different environment, when it comes to that clock speed and everything else. Over here we're having the crucials going around like 32 Celsius almost. And let's see what we're having when it comes to other applications, GPU. Okay, so let's get into the stress test, and you can see in the max Celsius we're hitting is 52.6 now, and it's getting quite hot of course because of the compact design, but I'm quite surprised how good it overall performs. I think I'm also going to be doing a different bench and again stress test later on. Going now in the stress test just to see what happens now. Now we're going to be pushing this thing to the limit, 62.5 Celsius. But I think we can get even crazier when it comes to this. So let's get into the Cinebnech R23 and let's combine it with the hardware monitor, checking out how the temperatures are. Now we did hit ourselves the 71.5 Celsius with the previous test, but let's get into the CPU multi-core and the single core. Let's test it out. And I just wanted to see how far we can push it. We're going to be doing the CPU multi-core, single core, and also I'm very curious how far we can push it when it comes to the specification of where can we actually compare this new AMD Ryzen with. For the temperatures, it's quite interesting that we do hit the 66.4. So we don't hit the 71.5 Celsius at the moment. So that is going to be okay. The first results are back, and with the single core CPU score, we're actually having a more powerful situation here. And moving on to the multi-core CPU test. So this thing performs quite nice. The doggy also agrees with me. So over here we're having quite a huge gap between the i9 9980S. I think this one was even in the Super Console X mini PC. You can see this thing even comes with a score of 16,215. So what I really love about these newer generation AMD Ryzen, I do use these to go to friends and play some indie games, and this is where they are just perfect for. Indie games on just 1080p, they will run perfectly, and even some older ones on 4K resolution and the highest graphic sets to the best preset you can do with a certain game. It's absolutely amazing, and I can tell you, I love these mini PCs for indie gaming in general.
2, 1, let's go!
But let's crash the party with the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. And I love to test these games out because they're quite demanding, normally needing a dedicated GPU when it comes to configuration. So we have set everything to high, and yup, we even have the option to play this on full HD. With the 7000 we had a great performance, and let's get into the game with the 8000 series.
We haven't determined the cause of past failures.
Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time.
But let's see, with it comes to the Dead or Alive situation over here. So full screen is going to be implemented. We're going to be setting this to 1, or better said, put it on off. This has to do because when you're going to put a shadow effect on, let's say higher resolutions, you're not going to get yourself like 60 FPS. Getting into the character selection screen, this do load up a lot of graphical things. So you can just see that we're having 61%, 80% of the GPU in use, 99 almost, there we go. And you can just see that I'm having a 47 FPS. So it's kind of similar to the previous like AMD Ryzen that we've tested before. And now I even like shut down all of, let's say, the details of the shadowing, because that contains too much power from the GPU. But let's get into the gameplay and let's do a quick overview and then gameplay to see if I'm hitting the 60 FPS all the time. So where we had overall great performance when it comes to, let's say, some older fighting games, let's see how far we can push it if you're going to see the latest versions, for example when it comes to the game Tekken 8. So what is convenient that it will actually give us a test bench score saying 269. That sounds not a lot, but that is simply to do because we're using a mini PC at this point. The preset has been set to full HD. So VSync has been enabled, variable rating shading has been set to off, and many features have been set to medium, or maybe even turn it on and off. But we don't need to put the display of frames per second, because we're going to be doing this differently. We're going to be playing and using, of course, a different program.
Round 1. Fight.
Red Roger Radical Edition is absolutely a great title to test bench. We're going back to the indie games, and that has simply to do because this game is crazy demanding. I've been messing around with this game for some time now, and when you think this is just a typical game for like a basic two-dimensional indie game, oh boy, this thing is absolutely crazy when it comes to, let's say, everything like the specs and how you can push this thing. So for example, going to be pushing everything to the maximum level and showcasing how, let's say, the quality can be when it comes to indie games and how demanding it is when it comes to these mini PCs.
You're either having a really good day or a really bad day.
Holy sh! You're alive! Mom has gone mad! Maybe this'll help you on your way.
But let's move into some emulation with the PlayStation 2. To begin with, all of the games I'm trying to put them on 4K rendering resolution to get the best results and to see how far we can push this device. But I'm guessing with PlayStation 2, it's not going to be a huge problem.
Round 1. Fight.
I must return fire! Go!
Shield active. Mines. Bomb. Mines.
Only the strongest will be chosen. Wallow in despair.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Battle 1. Fight! Take this! Take this! Oh! Take this! Oh! Take this!
So one of the things I wanted to check out is how fast PlayStation 3 will load up, because with lower power chips this takes forever. So with this new AMD Ryzen I do expect a little bit better performance, also depending how big your game is, depends how fast it will load up, but it will always be better than like some simple i3 or an i5, because I have been seeing those older CPUs and they were not great when it comes to PlayStation 3 emulation. So when it comes to PlayStation 3, you can see depending what kind of game you're actually going to be playing. So where Ridge Racer runs absolutely great, we did have a little bit of struggle when it comes to Skate 8, hitting not the full 60 FPS. However, getting in some games like Castlevania, they will run perfectly without any problem whatsoever. The games itself are locked to 30 FPS.
You're mine.
Level 1 defense formation.
Hold B button down to lock on. Release it to fire up homings.
Level 1 security door breach. Emergency formation. Intercept intruder.
But let's go crazy and let's force this thing to 4K resolution. So what I understand of the emulator itself, you need to play a little bit before getting the overall best performance. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let it run and let's see how far we can push it when it comes to the emulator. And also to the Dolphin emulator, so we can combine this with the Wii, and that's something I also wanted to check out, because the Wii has a lot of hidden gems when it comes to that. But let's move on first to the GameCube. So the new Beelink is absolutely a beast when it comes for gaming. Yep, you can actually play video games on this, it's just nuts, and some emulation. Plug in the controller and you can just have a lot of fun with this. However, it would be fun to check out some more stuff. Let me know in the comments what do you want to see running on this. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing and let me know in the comments. And I will see you in the next video.